Hello everyone, this is Chris, and today we're going to take a look at a really good framework that sometimes we hackers need speed, and depending on the situation we got to choose the best way or the best tool that's going to make this happen for us. So depending on the situation, there's a great tool that comes pre-installed with Kali. Of course you can download it as well, and it's called the Social Engineering Toolkit by David Kennedy. Featured also in Mr. Robot, the series as well, some attacks. So I suggest, because of the bleeding edge and the way Kali Linux 2.0 works, it's gonna be a bit difficult to update it. So I suggest you just GitHub, you take the link, alright, so you just say git clone and you paste that, and it's gonna install, and then you run it and set up, and at the end you go to this location and you just run Toolkit, Social Engineering Toolkit. Okay, so the point of using this, and I can tell you ideas, and because of the experience that you're gonna get throughout doing this kind of techniques and choosing the fastest way, sometimes you gotta understand why you would need it. So that's the trick here. So you need to understand, the more you know applications and tools and social engineering ways, the better you're gonna just program everything for your job or the things that you need to do. So let's say, for example, you're already in a network. It could be a cafe, it could be home or whatever. So you just nmap your local hosts and you discover who's there, right? So basically you have access and you just want to get credentials, for example, for Facebook, Gmail. There are two ways into getting this, or three or more. The old brute force way is not used every time, depending on the situation, or Hydra. So sometimes the wisest way, if for example you're in the network and you want to just get it easy, is to use social engineering techniques and trying to fool the victim so that he actually, whatever address he types, it's gonna just redirect him to you, because you're gonna be man in the middle. So you've done already man in the middle attack. You could use Toolkit. Basically you got there, and what you need the victim is, whenever he types anything .facebook or at facebook.com, it's gonna redirect him to a fake website that you generated within seconds, literally, so that he will just log in, and there you go. You're gonna have plain text of everything. That's the fastest way, assuming you're already in the network. And then it's gonna just take him to the real Facebook so he can log in and continue. This will minimize suspicion. So in order to do this, we need to understand, with social engineering, I'm gonna try to cover a lot of sections of this, because it's really cool, because it has fast track penetration testing, for example, like PSX, pass the hash is a great way to go, and fast. So basically there is it's a combination, it's a framework combination of pre-run, customly designed scripts, especially on the listeners of the combination that uses to connect with Metasploit, because it can do attacks and payloads and everything for you. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you would be obliged to just do quick stuff, and the social engineering toolkit now emphasizes as well even further on customizing certain Metasploit listeners and sometimes exploits as well. So basically it's totally customized for fast usage. And for example, I'm just gonna show you this quick. So basically you enter the IP address of your victim. I'm just gonna show you a quick thing. I'm not just gonna... Okay, and then you enter the username, assuming you got PSX access. Like if you have the if you have the hash of the password, you don't need to crack it. So you just paste it and it's gonna let you go. So amazing. and you know the username, assuming you got that detail from a different social engineering technique that you can also use from within social engineering toolkit. And then let's say you log in, you enter the hash or the password, doesn't matter. And then the domain name, if it's local, you just keep it. And then how many threads, this depends on the way you want it to try. So the more is faster, but you don't want to create a lot of noise, so you just go default. And you put the L host, which is the local host. In our situation, this is the one. To find your local host, all you gotta do is type ipconfig. However, I'm gonna tell you that it's right here where you gotta decide if you're in the network or you're using an external IP. So this is where things come different. This is your local IP, and for your external IP, you could just curl IP echo.net plain and then just echo. And if you press enter, it's just gonna give you your external IP. And then, of course, as I said in previous vids, that you gotta always check for the ports in your firewall in order to have access to the outside world. So just make sure any router, or it's gonna all look somewhere under firewall forwarding. You gotta port forward your stuff to your local IP. So I'm using a native Kali Linux. So this is, and I've done static, so this never changes. So always make sure that your settings are correct. And then after you put your IP address, you just go for the port. And it's not going to work right now because it's just random. What it's going to do, I'm going to show you how things work here. It's just preparing the payload for you for delivering and injecting shellcode. It's generating the PowerShell injection code, which is here. This is the actual code, right? So finished generating the injection bypass, encoded. If you want PowerShell commands and attacks, they are exported here. So basically it also creates a log so you can use it for later, right? So then it launches Metasploit for you. So you just make sure that you fix the settings for social engineering so it directs the pointing of Metasploit to the correct position and direction. So depending on what version you'll be using, you have to fix that so it can actually find it and communicate. And what it does is, like, if we go here where it says it saved the PowerShell for you, actually we cannot cat it. Let's just change to it first, and then now we can cat PowerShell. That's the PowerShell, and what it's doing, it's just calling for Metasploit and then just automatically setting everything for you. So there you go. It's so fast that you can just access everything fast and set up everything fast. And then if this works, you just got yourself a meter-preter session and you're already in within seconds, right? And now I'm gonna show you something else. You can exit. I just showed you, like, you can use fast track penetration testing with customly defined prescripts for you. And now the interesting part is here. Like, this is the core thing. This is where it all started. Like, Dave made stuff amazingly, and he knew what people actually sometimes need, and he just made it happen within scripts. So it's not about a script kiddie, but depending on the situation. Today it's 2016, and back then, when 15 years ago, we had to write everything. There was no such stuff, you know. So now it's like a kind of appreciation, or depending on the situation, you gotta speed up things to get faster stuff. It's not like in the movies where you see people just typing like that. This is the real world. This is the real hacking. This is how things work. So depending on how you're gonna do your recon and your trainings on different tools, understanding what each one does, it'll make you faster. And that's what makes a hacker faster than other, or better, etc. So I'm gonna show you the website attack vectors. So in future videos, I'm gonna try to cover everything for you so you can understand not just how they use it or play with it, but for actually where do we use it and when, you know.